Some airplanes age like fine engineering, and others age like a financial warning label printed directly on the logbook. And today we are looking at the second group, the aircraft, so disappointing expensive to maintain, poorly engineered, or simply frustrating to own, that the market now sells them for shockingly low prices, even compared to similar planes from the same era. This list is not about hate, but about reality, because some airframes became famous for problems that never went away, and now pilots avoid them like a mid-air warning tone. Welcome to Aviation and Dia, and if you enjoy honest breakdowns of the aviation world, make sure to subscribe and hit like as we dive into 9 planes with reputations so bad their prices fell off a cliff. Piper P-034, the Seneca Y. The Seneca. I should have been a strong step forward for Piper, but the early models became infamous for weak climb, performance, inconsistent engine reliability, and handling quirks that made training and commercial operations difficult. The aircraft struggled in hot and high conditions, and many pilots complained that losing one engine turned the plane into a desperate glide rather than a controlled single-engine climb. The cabin was comfortable, but that didn't matter when the aircraft constantly fought against aerodynamic inefficiencies and maintenance that escalated every year. Shops disliked working on these early Senecas because parts wore out faster than expected, and owners often needed repeated fixes that cost more than the airplane was worth. The resale market reacted aggressively, and today the first-generation Seneca can be found for surprisingly low prices, because pilots know that upgrading to later versions is a far safer and more reliable choice. Piper PA-23 Aztec. The Aztec earned the nickname the Flying Truck, not because it was strong, but because it was heavy, thirsty, and stubborn in the air. Early versions suffered from high fuel, burn-limited useful load, and maintenance demands that made every annual inspection a multi-page financial disaster. Pilots liked the stability, but hated the slow climb rate, and noisy cabin, and mechanics often reported corrosion issues and aging components that required constant attention. The aircraft flew reliably but not efficiently, and owners quickly realized that operating costs were far higher than competing twins that delivered better performance for less money over the years. Values dropped sharply, and many Aztecs now sit on the market for bargain-level prices because the cost of keeping them flying consistently scares away new buyers, no matter how cheap the initial purchase might be. Cessna 177 Cardinal, early models. The early Cessna 177 looked futuristic, but flew like an unfinished prototype. The lack of a wing strut sounded innovative, but the early structural design led to flexing handling, inconsistencies, and performance numbers that disappointed nearly everyone. The takeoff roll felt long, the climb sluggish, and the stall behavior unpredictable. Especially for low-time pilots, maintenance wasn't terrible, but parts availability and recurring issues with the stabilator and cooling made ownership unreliable. Owners reported that the aircraft never delivered the performance Cessna promised, and flight schools avoided it because students struggled with its quirks. As the reputation declined, so did market value. And even though later Cardinals improved, the early units became some of the lowest-priced 4-seat Cessnas ever made, simply because pilots prefer almost any other model from the same era. Cessna 336 Skymaster, early problematic versions. Before the refined 337 appeared, the early 336 Skymaster models created a list of issues long enough to fill a maintenance manual. The push-pull concept was attractive, but the first generation suffered from poor cooling, especially on the rear engine, leading to frequent overheating and expensive repairs. The cabin felt loud, the vibration levels were uncomfortable, and the aircraft offered disappointing single-engine performance. Despite being designed to avoid asymmetric thrust mechanics, disliked working on it because the configuration made access difficult, and owners faced repair bills that grew faster than the airplane's actual value. Pilots complained that the plane never felt balanced in flight, and insurance costs spiked due to early accident rates. The market reacted by pushing prices way down, making the 336 one of the cheapest multi-engine options today, but one that most pilots still refuse to touch. Cessna 188 Ag Truck. The Ag Truck was built for toughness but not for longevity or comfort, and its reputation suffered because the airframe was pushed to extremes in agricultural work, where structural fatigue corrosion and power plant wear became common problems. Operators constantly battled maintenance downtime and high repair costs that far outweighed the aircraft's earning potential. The cockpit was cramped, visibility limited, and the aircraft lacked the refinement and durability that competitors eventually delivered. Pilots respected its simplicity, but hated its harsh ride and inconsistent handling, especially when loaded with chemicals as newer and more capable ag planes entered the market. The value of the 188 dropped severely, and many surviving units are now sold at extremely low prices because keeping them operational requires far more investment than most buyers are willing to spend. Cessna T303 Crusader. The T303 had potential, but it entered the market late, overpriced and underperforming, and suffered from systems complexity that made maintenance a nightmare. Mechanics regularly pointed out that almost everything on the aircraft required extra labor hours, and parts that were already rare became even harder to find over the years. The plane delivered decent comfort, but not enough speed or efficiency to justify the ownership costs, and pilots felt that the performance numbers never matched expectations. Its resale value collapsed as soon as operators realized that similar twins flew faster and cheaper while offering better support. The Crusader became a financial burden for many owners, and today it sells for shockingly low prices because buyers understand that acquiring one means committing to years of expensive inspections and hard-to-source components. Mooney M20K 201. Problematic units. While the M20K is normally loved, a subset of problematic units, especially those with poorly maintained gear systems, aging structures, and mismanaged engine setups, caused the model to earn a shadow reputation. Some aircraft developed repeated gear issues, others suffered from neglected corrosion or improperly repaired damage that created ongoing alignment problems. Pilots who ended up with these problematic units reported unpredictable handling, higher than normal engine temperatures, and maintenance bills that multiplied every year. Shops warned buyers to carefully inspect logs because one bad M20K could cost more to fix than to buy, and those unlucky enough to own one quickly tried to sell at a loss. These problematic aircraft dragged market values down for certain serial ranges, resulting in some of the cheapest Moonies available, but ones that experienced pilots avoid because the risk does not match the savings. Mooney M20K 231. The M20K offered excellent speed, but only when flown perfectly and maintained obsessively, which led many owners to ruin engines repeatedly due to improper operation of the turbo system. High cylinder temperatures and poor engine management caused repeated failures and costly overhauls. Pilots who expected a simple upgrade from the M20K quickly learned that the 231 demanded constant attention, precise leaning procedures, and disciplined climb profiles. Mechanics dealt with cracked cylinders, seized turbo components, and cooling problems that never fully disappeared. The aircraft was fast but unforgiving, and resale values collapsed as buyers realized how fragile the model could be under real-world conditions. Today, some units are sold shockingly cheap because owners want to escape the maintenance cycle, and pilots prefer the later 252 or the simpler 201 rather than risk the expensive habits of the 231. Beechcraft Duke B60. The Duke is a masterpiece of engineering, but a nightmare for the wallet. The pressurized cabin and powerful engines provide luxury and performance, but at a cost so extreme that many owners simply gave up. The fuel burn is massive, the engine overhauls are among the most expensive in general aviation, and the airframe demands constant attention from specialists, even well-maintained. Dukes can drain bank accounts through avionics upgrades, corrosion treatments, and system troubleshooting that only a handful of shops can handle. Pilots love flying it, but hate paying for it. And as fuel and maintenance costs increased over the years, the market value collapsed, leaving many Dukes selling at a fraction of the cost required to keep them airworthy. Today, the Duke is one of the biggest examples of a high-performance aircraft being sold for unbelievably low prices simply because ownership is financially overwhelming. These aircraft show that not every machine with wings is a good investment, and the aviation market remembers every failure, every design flaw, and every expensive mistake. Their values dropped, not because they cannot fly, but because flying them often costs far more than they are worth. Some were rushed to market, others were engineered with compromises, and many simply aged poorly, creating reputations that new buyers don't want to risk. Thanks for watching Aviation India. And if you want more honest aviation breakdowns, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay with us for more deep dives into the best and worst airplanes ever built.